Hey guys, and welcome to or back to the Pause in Pursuit podcast with your host, Summer Clark. How are we all? Today, we are going to be talking all about starting off a new agility dog. I have had so many requests for this topic by you guys, people at shows, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to be giving you my top 10 tips on how to get your future agility dog off to the best start from the get-go. So from the very start, what should you be doing with a new puppy? And again, disclaimer, should be doing. Again, everyone's different. This is just what I did with Arrow. And if I didn't do it with Arrow, what I've learned that I'm going to do with my next dog. But, you know, oh, that's my stomach. Can you hear that? I just had my lunch, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway, we're like a minute in. Anyway, that's what we're going to be talking about today. As with anything, this is all my opinion, my experience, so take it with a pinch of salt. But yeah, pick and choose what you take from it. It isn't fact. It isn't, I'm not saying that this is definitely the way to go for everyone, because it's probably not, but this is what I have found. So before we get into that, I will give you a little weekly recap. So, Iconics, and most of you have probably seen my posts already about Iconics. I've just opened Instagram to read back through my posts, and someone's got an Iconics water bottle. That looks incredible. Anyway, so Iconics, wow, amazing. So firstly, was Saturday, and Arrow came second in Dylan's agility, which was, what was that? Grade 7 agility, and it was a qualifier for the final that night. So the 4-7 Fiesta final. And we came second and realised, oh wait, you have to win a graded class to qualify. So we didn't qualify. So we had one run left to qualify agility, and that was Martin Reed's agility, grade 7, combined 6-7. So we had to come in the top 4, and we came third, which was amazing. So we qualified for the final. So the first agility didn't have a seesaw in it because of the wind. And then the second agility only had an A-frame in it that you did twice, didn't have a seesaw or a dog walk because it was so stupidly windy. And to be honest, the main reason I even entered, in a way, was to train my seesaw because, that's what we're doing at the moment. We're cracking down on the seesaw. As I've said before, oh God, that's very rude of me, so guys. Tired, bank holiday was a big one. Anyway, good job I'm having a rest day today. I've completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, so there was no seesaws in our 2 agility rounds. So I was like, well, there's no training involved because there's no seesaws. So we came second and third in those and qualified for the final. The final didn't have a dog walk in because of the wind, but it did have an A-frame and a seesaw. I walked the final course and I was like buzzing. I felt like I just had a coffee or taken pre-workout. Like, when you know a course is going to be flat out or nothing, like you have to go absolutely flat out. And that is, as you guys know from previous episodes, how I'm trying to run every course now. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job of it so far. Not saying every single time, but I'm a lot better at it now than I was previously. But yeah, I walked it and I thought, wow, this is good. This is one of those courses. Like, I loved the course so much, and it was so fast, fast with skills. Like, it was going to be so exciting to run. So we ran third in the medium final, but small was first. So in the whole scope of finals, I think I was 14th, 15th to run, and we went clear. And obviously, because we went third, we were right at the start, so I had no idea if we were going to stay there, blah, blah, blah. Literally came out that ring buzzing thinking, wow, I think that was, one of the best runs we've ever done together, coupled with our obviously winning Crufts Run Agility Dog of the Year, and a few others. But yeah, that was definitely up there with that Crufts Run. That was one of the best runs we've ever done. I've never felt so connected with him ever before in my life. It was insane. There were some really, really tricky skills in that, and he nailed all of them without even a second glance. One was a threadle wrap, and then a straight tunnel, and then an in. But most people were doing the in on the other side of their dog as a back around the back. to stop the dog taking the face side, but I thought I knew Arrow would be faster and smoother and less likely to knock poles if I did it as an in, so I did. And on the video you can hear the crowd go as I'm on the other side of that tunnel because I'm leaving the face side open, but he smashed it. He was perfect. Literally incredible. I didn't know how his seesaw would be. Obviously I quick released it and he was fine. Like, he did stop short of the 2-on-2 position, but it was a lot better than it has been. It was a nice fast seesaw. Really pleased with that. And yeah, got all the blinds in, all the things. And we somehow stayed in the lead the entire time. From dog number 3 to dog number 13, I think it was. And first, second, third was so tight. I think I was 0.1 ahead of second and 0.7 ahead of third. We were all in the 37 seconds, so it was a super tight final, and it's also kind of reiterated the fact that you really just do have to go for it, especially at a final, especially when you're grade 7. You know, you kind of are, for me anyway, I think I kind of have to get to the point where I'm like, I don't want to come second, I want to win. And obviously that's the case. You know, I'd rather risk getting E'd than come second, if that makes sense. And you just got to go for it and you got to push, because if I hadn't pushed it but still gone clear, I probably wouldn't have even been on the podium, because 37 seconds, first, second and third, do you get what I mean? So yeah, that kind of registered in my brain after it had happened as well, like reiterating that. But yeah, it was just incredible and just a very memorable day. The actual final wasn't till 7 p.m, so it was quite a late finish. I think we didn't get home till 10:10, but it was amazing. It was so worth it. And then we were back the following day for another day of the show. Following day. And then the following day, the seesaw was back in the courses. It wasn't windy. So we used the 2 agility runs to train the seesaw, and he did so good, such good runs. And then he won the jumping. And the jumping, that is one of the best jumping courses I've ran in a long time. That was perfect. It was Becky Hodson's. Shout out. It was such a great course. But yeah, so just shout out to Neil and crew for, bringing Iconics to life. It is definitely one of my favourite shows ever. Probably my favourite show ever. The courses are so good. Thank you to everyone for the courses. The final course was Cedric I'm going to butcher this name. Cedric Bargoin. I don't know how to say it, but yeah, his courses were epic. I love the final course. And that was Iconics, basically. Really cool weekend. Very memorable. And I'm just so proud of Arrow. Like, we're feeling so super connected. And yeah, just good vibes all around. Oh God, don't know what happened to my voice there. But anyway, that's a little intro, the little weekly recap. So shall we get straight into my top 10 tips then of how to get your future agility dog off to the best start from the get-go, in my experience and in my opinion. So number 1 is obvious, and it's to just let them be puppies and give them time to settle in and do normal dog things. Now, this goes for the same goes for if you get if you get a dog when it's a bit older, a rescue dog, and you want to do agility with it. Give it time to just live, be a dog, settle into your home, settle into a new routine, settle into your routine and your lifestyle, and just be a dog, play, walk, all the things, for a while when you first get the puppy, obviously. That's super important because, like I said, first and foremost, your dog is your new family member. Your puppy needs to build confidence by just existing in a new environment with new people before you start asking more of them, obviously. So just make sure, and I know it's hard because, you're going to be so excited and so enthusiastic about starting agility and get into all the fun stuff and everything. It is super exciting for us, but you've got to remember that it'll pay off to just chill out and make sure that you don't rush into things, and just give them that time and that space to settle in. Just enjoy them for being a dog, for being a puppy, before even thinking about getting to work. So that's first and foremost. Number 2 is to prioritise the bond you develop together. Now, I'd say this is the most important part of agility in general is the bond that, you have with your dog. And from what I've seen and experienced, the most successful agility partnerships have an undeniable connection. You can kind of see that on course when the dogs, the dog clearly worships the handler, and, you see them outside of the ring, stuff like that. And you can just tell, it's hard to explain, but you can just tell when a dog and handler are just best mates. They've got a really, really strong connection. The dog kind of reads the handler kind of reads the dog. That's what you want to strive for, and you can start working on that as soon as you meet your puppy, as soon as you bring your puppy home. And it's so simple. It's things like just cuddling, playing, everything, just all the normal things that you do together, taking them everywhere with you if you can, stuff like that, just making sure that you are little besties first and foremost. I've also experienced it and found that the better the connection between me and Arrow has got in general, and even outside of agility, the better our agility performance is. Like in that final, we just felt so in sync. We felt like one, and you can't just get that with, you can't just pick up a dog and have that. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's built. So you can start building that from the get-go, and keep throughout your dog's entire career, keep prioritizing the bond and the friendship between you and your dog outside of agility as well, just in general, and that will really pay off. You will notice a huge difference. Number 3 is to socialize them as much as possible and expose them to as much as possible. So again, this is where Arrow struggled. Obviously, he being a lockdown puppy, I couldn't take him to all these things that I wanted to take him to meet people and other dogs and be social and stuff. There weren't events on to take him to, shows on to take him to. And I think this is the main reason for his nerves when he was younger, and still some of the nerves he has today, although he is like a different dog now. It's taken nearly 5 years of work to get out of that. So it does have a lasting impact if your dog isn't socialised, if you don't put that work in straight away. And then as far as things like vaccinations go, I know everyone's different, whether they get their puppy vaccinated or not, and whether they wait until they're fully vaccinated to put them down. I know everyone's different with that. I did with Arrow, and I think I will with another puppy, but doesn't mean you can't take them out. I had a sling for Arrow when he was a puppy, so I could still carry him around when I went out and about. And yeah, there's always a way. Just make sure that your puppy is seeing lots of things so they aren't fazed by them later in life, and that's going to be super important when you're trying to introduce them into the chaotic world and the absolutely hectic environment that is the agility scene. There's nothing more full on than the environment at an agility competition. Us as handlers can feel that probably just as much as our dogs can. So just bear that in mind and just prioritize that socialization, and it will pay off hugely because your puppy will be confident, and when you do take them into an agility environment, they won't be fazed by sound, smells, people, noise, everything. So yeah, you want to get them used to that. Number 4 is to sign up to a course, or enlist the help of a trainer, especially if this is your first agility puppy. So Arrow was my first proper agility puppy. Earl, obviously, I just got for a pet, and I just wanted a dog when I was 8 at that point. And then Ethel, we did get knowing we'd do agility, but I was still at my old quote unquote fun agility club, and I didn't do any of I didn't know the foundations existed, and I didn't know the right ways to do things training wise. So that didn't happen with her. But Arrow, I obviously was a lot more knowledgeable around dogs and agility by the time I got Arrow. I wasn't a child. I wasn't like a proper child, so that helped. That's always a good thing. So I signed up to a few courses. Obviously, I trained with Lucy already, and then I signed up to Dave Munnins, the QME puppy course he had going on at the time, and also Katerina P. I'm not going to even try and say her last name, Podolink or something. I don't know. I'm not very good with stuff like that. You all know who I mean. I did her online running dog walk running contacts course as well. And they were all invaluable. I learned so much. And not only did I learn what to do with Arrow at the time from them, but I also, it just gave me the knowledge forever. Does that make sense? Like, from following those steps, I retained that information, and now I'll know what to do with all of my future dogs, or what to start doing. Obviously, different dogs have different needs and different tweaks to be made to training programs and approaches and stuff, but in general, you know, it's I know where to start, how to progress from those courses. So I won't need to sign up to all those courses for every puppy I ever get necessarily, because I did those. So they are invaluable not only for the dog you have at the time, but for you as a handler, you as a trainer, and for all your future dogs really as well, which is cool. And there is, you know, asking for help is necessary. I've learnt from so many top trainers, and I mean, to be fair, the thing that's made me the best trainer is Arrow's issues, weirdly. Like, well, not weirdly, but like, ironically, the worst thing that I thought was happening to me has turned out to make me a great trainer and be a great thing. But besides from that, all these trainers that I've learnt from have helped me develop into a trainer of my own, if that makes sense. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Get the help of a trainer who's done it before, knows what they're doing, sign up to courses, get involved in everything, and just be a sponge, absorb all the information and use it. While I'm on that, a little bit of self-promo. I am going to be releasing some courses. First and foremost, a running dog walk course, hopefully by the end of the year, towards the end of the season, which is super exciting, which will be taking you all from the start of Arrow's running contact journey to where he is now. So that's coming. If anyone is either getting a new dog, a new puppy, or wants to start training running contacts, or retrain from a stop with an older dog, etc. So keep an eye out for that. The only way to know when that gets released is to follow me on all the socials, Instagram mainly, at Paws in Pursuit. And yeah, that will be fun, so keep an eye out. But anyway, that's that. Number 5 is don't just rely on online content and home training. So obviously I had to for a while because of lockdown, but that didn't help Harry's confidence, did it? He's happy at home and confident. It's when you get into different locations and start generalising behaviours that the confidence is like, oh God, it's new, what is this? And the confidence they have at home isn't there anymore. Again, it depends on the dog's character, but the softy Arrow it did bother him. But group puppy classes are super helpful when it comes to both training and socialisation. So it's kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone if you think about it. It's you get in the training, you're face-to-face with the trainer who can help you train your puppy and give you feedback there and then on the spot within that hour or however long the training classes are on for. But at the same time as that, your puppy is in a new environment around new people and dogs, and getting exposed to loads of new stimuli such as, you know, the noises, the smells, everything, literally everything. So don't just do the online and home training. Supplement your group classes with online training, supplement online with group, have a combination, a bit of everything. Moderation is key. But yeah, don't just think because you've signed up to one online course that you don't need to ever train your dog, with either an in-person trainer or in a different location or stuff like that. So that's important, especially in this day and age where online stuff is all the rage. They are super helpful, but don't replace in-person training with that, unless you don't have an option for group training classes. But if you have an option, they are fab, and also super fun too. Number 6 is to encourage your dog to develop the ability to problem solve and think independently by using shaping to train behaviours and skills. So I will always use shaping. Shaping is, in my opinion, the best way to train, the best method. It's literally a bulletproof method. No, bulletproof approach. That's what I meant to say. Tongue twister there. To training, really, because it's encouraging your puppy to think for themselves and solve problems. The problem being, how do I earn the reward that my trainer is holding right now? I want to earn that treat or that toy. How am I going to do it? And they have to follow little prompts or use the environment to prompt them. For example, if you're teaching a wing wrap and there's a wing in front of them, they need to be thinking in their head, what can I do to, what might earn me this reward? And they have to think about it. And when they get it right, it's even more satisfying because they've, worked hard for that. They've racked their brains to come to that conclusion. And it is definitely the most rewarding way to train, in my opinion, and in my experience. If I'm teaching Arrow a new behaviour now, I'll still use shaping. Do you know what I mean? So it's not just for puppies, but it is great to, and he already is an independent thinker and can problem solve, but I'll still use it. But it's fab for just developing your puppy's brain in that sense. And it's just way more fun. Like it makes training way more fun for not only the puppy who's doing the thinking and getting the reward, but for for us as the owners and trainers, it's so satisfying. There's literally nothing better. So I definitely encourage shaping. That is how I train. Number 7 is to think about proprioception. So proprioception, I have mentioned before, it is essentially bodily awareness in your puppy. So walking on different surfaces and interacting with different objects will help your puppy to develop body awareness. And obviously body awareness is pretty much vital in agility, with all the sharp turns, the weaving, the jumping, the landing, everything. And then obviously in agility, you've got your different surface, grass, astro, sand. Your puppy wants to have really good awareness of where their body is in space, what their limbs are doing, what they're touching, what they're feeling, etc. So just exposing your puppy to different surfaces. You've got maybe carpet, you've got tiles, like I said, sand, astro, grass, not hills, but like little mounds in the ground on walks, or leaves, or do you get what I mean? Different things like that. Different things on the floor for them to, move around, interact with, step over, so you can. I remember when Arrow was little, I had a mini puppy tunnel up in the kitchen for him to walk through, which obviously moved about as he went into it a little bit, and just different stuff like that for them to interact with, just making their environment as interactive and, just varying their environment in that sense. And encouraging body awareness from the very get-go is super important. Number 8 is to prioritise the foundations. This is so self-explanatory and obvious, but I had to include it. Don't move on from them too soon, okay? So I know it's very tempting to get to the quote-unquote sexy stuff, equipment, etc., etc. One, you can't do that anyway when they're really little because of safety, joints, etc. God's sake, that shouldn't even need to say that, but feel like I've got to get it in there. Everyone knows that already. But don't, even when your dog's old enough and developed enough physically, don't feel like you need to move on straight away or too soon. The longer you spend on foundations, the better, really. And like I said, you don't even there never has to be a point where you're done with foundations and that's it. Don't be scared to revisit them whenever you want or need down the line. For example, running contacts. A dog could do a whole full running dog walk, but you could still revisit the mat on the floor in the garden with a manners minder whenever, just as a refresher, or if maybe you're having a bit of a rut, if your dog's hits are really high or something all of a sudden. So foundations are always there, but if you get those right and you work on them and they're inbuilt into your dog's brain from the start, then you are going to set your dog up for way more success down the line, and it is going to be way easier for you as a trainer as well. Number 9 is to not overdo it. And again, this should be quite obvious, but we get so excited, don't we? And we always want to be training because it's so fun, but you can't. So you don't want either yourself or your puppy to get bored of the game that is meant to be fun. And you don't want that burnout to happen at all, because that is just taking a step back. Training is supposed to be fun and exciting. Agility is supposed to be fun and exciting. It's meant to be yours and your puppy's favourite thing to do together. And essentially, dogs that love doing agility are the most successful. Again, nothing I'm saying here is a rule necessarily, but with Arrow, for example, he now loves agility and he's doing the best he ever has. When he didn't love agility, he wasn't successful. Like, that's just how it is. The more fun and excited exciting your dog finds agility, generally the faster and more driven and better they're going to perform. Their brains are going to be more switched on. They're going to learn faster. So yeah, you want to prioritize making your dog love the game, making sure that you keep loving the game. Because I went into a rut and had a bit of agility burnout just over a couple of years ago. And it wasn't my most productive season of agility. You know, both you and your dog have to be enthusiastic, you know, and sharp and alert and yes, you know, positive to do really well. That's just how it works. The psychology of it with us handlers is there as well, and I talk about that a lot. It is a big interest of mine, you know, like sports psychology and stuff. So just don't overdo it, don't overtrain, keep it fun. If you really don't fancy training one day, don't think, oh, I have to train today, otherwise my puppy's going to come out late, or we're going to get really behind, or we're going to get behind so-and-so and their young dog. Just don't train that day. It's going to do both of you better in the long run. I promise you there is no rush at all. And that brings me on to number 10, our last point of today, which is don't compare your puppy to other dogs of a similar age. I fell into this trap a little bit with Arrow. Comparison in general, especially in the age of all this social media use, is super hard to avoid. And it's really easy to fall into, but you've got to remember that every dog is different and every journey is unique. For example, when Arrow was really little and struggling with his nerves, and I was only doing jumping, for example, and I felt behind, quote unquote, behind with the journey and stuff. And it wasn't a nice feeling, you know, I was getting in my head about it. But now I look back and think there was no need for me to even worry about that or compare, because now look at where Arrow is. He's doing fantastic, like he's right up there at the top. So just don't compare, like everyone's different. You'll get there eventually and it doesn't matter when. And I know it's really hard in the moment, but you've just got to remember that you're never going to have, I was going to say unless you get litter mates, but even then, like Arrow and all of his litter mates are at different stages. It's just every dog is different, even if they're siblings, like totally different. You're never going to get two dogs that have exactly the same journey and exactly the same timeline as, you know, as another dog. So that's just how it is, and you just really don't need to compare. You're going to enjoy your journey way more than if you do sit and look at all these other dogs of a similar age and panic because you think you and your dog should be there. You don't. Calm down. It's okay. You'll be fine. So those are my 10 tips. I really hoped you enjoyed today's episode. Again, as you know, every dog is different, but yeah, as kind of a bit of a rule of thumb, if you think along those lines, then you're probably going to be in a better place. But yeah, just remember it's a fun time and it's meant to be enjoyable. It's a learning curve for both you and your dog, and just chill, basically. And even if you don't get off to quote unquote the best start in your journey, you can catch up. Well, there's no even catching up, you know, you can get back on track to where you want to be. It's never too late to start. And yeah, anything is possible if you put your mind to it. That's so cliche and cheesy, I'm so sorry, but it's true. So yeah, just you do you, don't compare, have a good time, and ask for help if you need it. So yeah, there you go. And now as the little outro, I'll tell you what I've got coming up. So I'm at Gillingham on Saturday. I am down to compete, but for reasons, I'm not sure if I'm going to actually take Arrow with me. I'm staying in Oxford for the weekend, basically, for the 3 days over the weekend. So I will be at Gillingham, maybe or maybe not competing there. I'll either be competing or grooming, either way. And then on Sunday, we've got, me and Rory have got our training day in Oxford. So we actually have 2 spots left. So we have 1 spot left in the pre-comp /1 to 2 group, and 1 spot in the 3 to 5 group as well. So if you are free on Sunday and would like to come to our Oxford training day, please just PM me to book on, me or Rory, and we'd love to see you there. So yeah, only 2 spots left. Only well, less than a week to go. Yeah, less than a week to go now. Only a few days actually. So yeah, grab a last minute spot. We would love to see you there. I'm working on my courses for that at the moment, and I know Rory is too, and they're looking really cool. I'm really excited. You guys will love them if you come along. Yeah, so really looking forward to this weekend. And then I'll be back to work, well, quote unquote work, my social media job next week. And I've actually started a bit of dog walking as well. Had my first client today, well, yesterday when you're listening to this, which was really fun. You really can't go wrong, can you, getting paid to walk lovely dogs? Like, it's great. But anyway, yeah, exciting things in the works. Progressions with, my future training business, all in the works. So just keep an eye on everything. Social media wise, for any updates, it's at Paws in Pursuit for pretty much everything. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the things. Summer Clark on Facebook. Again, most of you already have me, but just keep an eye on it everywhere. And if you're feeling super generous today, please do give the podcast a rating or review. That would mean the world to me. And do keep sending me your feedback on the episodes, and also both guest and solo episode ideas that you'd like me to talk about in the future. Don't be shy, send that message. I have a few cool guests in my head that I need to reach out to that should be out soon, or recording soon to be out in the next few months. So look forward to those. Make sure you're following the podcast so you don't miss those. And that's pretty much it from me this week, guys. I'll see some of you at Gillingham probably. But other than that, I will speak to you this time next week on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Bye, guys.